Bitcoin bestie.
Just waking up from a nice dream. Bitcoin pumping on a live stream. Smile shine brighter than a high beam. Ever seen live trading on a widescreen? Bitcoin showing you the steps to own it. We got the alpha, I bet you want it. I'm having fun to send a lecture on it. Randy, put a little extra on it.
It's mutable and decentralized. No censorship or hard cap supply. It's open source and we classify the blockchain secure, and that's exactly why. It's hard money with a new plan. It bounced a lot like this new jam. The Bitcoin dipped and we ain't gon' trip. I'ma be bullish on you, fam.
I'm a Bitcoin bestie. You gotta love it. 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 I'm a Bitcoin bestie. You gotta love it.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Daily Zest. I'm your host, Randi Hipper, here today on a lovely Monday. I hope everybody had an absolutely splendid weekend. And boy, oh boy, do we have drama with this WAR. The tension between the US and Iran continues to flow in a way that I don't know, it's so darn confusing. And I'm gonna fill you in on like this morning's news because obviously it affected the market, and so we're gonna chat about it. We also have the risk of Bitcoin crashing 50%. I don't know if I see that happening. Maybe you guys could let me know if you see it. Then we also have some South Korea news. We have SBF trying to use his parents to get him out of jail when his parents are complicit in the crime. Who knows? Maybe I'm just a crazy woman on the internet. I also have coins to watch. So if you guys are ready for the Zest, the news, the education, then don't hesitate to smash a like. Subscribe to the channel, share it out with friends so more people know what's going on here. We have a goal of 150 likes, 150 live viewers, and a subscribing goal of 25,220. Let's get 3 more for the episode. We'll take it light and fluffy today. We also have an after show for all individuals that are not members of the YouTube channel. You can get in there for free today in the Discord after this concludes. But on Wednesdays and Fridays, it is exclusive for members only. So please go and become a member of the YouTube channel. Support us. You'll get some beautiful emojis, and then you'll be able to get into that Discord after show. So let's see who's here. We have Twiz. Thank you for the heart. Thank you guys so much for being here. Again, if you're on TikTok, it's really hard for me to see your comments, so I probably will not see them. You could go to YouTube, though, and hang out with us there. Who do we have? Oh, my gosh. Wait, hold on. I'm skipping things. Guys, I forgot to say thank you to the people that make this show possible. Our 3 amazing sponsors, including Cake Wallet Market, Cipher, use code ZESTY for 15% off, and then go up to the moon with Uphold. We'll do some Blockchain Academy tomorrow. Okay. We have things. Let's say good morning to people. We got Jesse, Silver Days. We got Flat Earth, David Bulls. Nice to see you. We got Jim, our Belgian bestie. Mama Shadows all over the chat. We love that. Pieces on every platform. Thank you to Black Hat. We got Paco. There's Doge Bull. We got Fitz, Mark Smithson. I can't with this dude. I don't know what he said earlier that had me dying. Aquarian, good morning. Nice to see you. Who else we have? Yukio, Mike Mazzona are on X, as per usual. We got Ray K, John Shanks, Curtis Hill is here. Nice to see you, my friend. Rob C, Alvio is here. Silverback said love the new denim. Oh my gosh, Curtis too. Thank you guys. I really hope you guys like it. I went shopping for you this weekend. I got a lot of business-esque clothes for Bitcoin conference. We are showing up to Bitcoin conference in style, and maybe I'm going to Bitcoin conference. Am I going to Bitcoin conference? I think so. I think we're going to go to Bitcoin conference, guys. Right, Jimmy G, Magic Sun, hello, my loves on TikTok. Forfeits, good morning. Oregon Sustainable. Sus, how are you? Shoot, good morning. Hi. Oregon says, morning from Oregon. Hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Guys, I spent the weekend in the gym and recharging in the sun. I don't know. I feel like my tan line is a little off. I feel like my dress covers it up pretty well, but my, yeah, all of it. I saw some crazy stuff. Echo, hello. Forfeit said, not sure what happened with YouTube. It made me create a new channel. Oh, this is Fitz. This is regular Fitz. Oh, okay. Weird. But okay, let's get into the zest, shall we? We're gonna get into this podcast because that's what we do, right? Alex Caimana, Power DeFi, hello. Sip your coffees. Let's do the breaking news and the market first, obviously. We got Knight that's up 13%. We have a lot of green in the market today. Again, this could be false moves because, again, I'll break down the news for you in just a moment. But we're going to take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is up 5% right now at $71,360 at the moment. And look, where we catapulted from, that 67.7, which was the candle close, the highest daily candle close of 2021. That wick high that everyone knows, the famous 69K. So holding support at 67.7 is ideal because we want to test and hold support at 75, 76K. 76K, I don't know, it hits a spot in my heart that just nothing else does. Truly. So I would vote for Bitcoin, hopefully maintaining support first at 72K, then holding support at 76 to go and test the 200-day SMA that currently sits at $92,371. And if we fall below that 67.7, we are looking at a clean 60K as a bearish scenario at the moment. Again, we're just skipping a few things. We're kind of just going from one extreme to the other per se. We do have a red dot printed pulling down that momentum, guys. We are officially negative with this momentum. Money flow is remaining in that red, remaining stagnant. VWAP is bearish, but making a nice move to the upside. Again, this could just be a false move Monday, so keep calm, hodl on throughout the rest of the week. We do have the RSI that literally had a major pullback. We always warned what goes up must come down with this RSI. And so we did make a nice little rebound. I would like to see us maintain that and see where we go from there. But I want to stay bullish on all fronts. Obviously, that is the ideal case scenario. Backup said no hello to me. I'm a little offended. Well, hello, Backup. What is going on with my alert box? I want to make sure this is on. Hold on, let me do a little. I need some testing going on here. Where's my alert box? Oh, okay, wait. It should work now. It should work now. I think I switched it on and off. We'll see. Those who endure to the end will be saved. I agree. Oh my gosh, V, thank you for the galaxy on TikTok. We love a galaxy. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's keep going. Ian, good morning. Hello, everyone. Please smash the like, subscribe, and share. We're going to go into our breaking news headlines, which is the fact that we are in a WAR with Iran, and things are getting spicy, and I thought things were getting better. Maybe they're not getting better. What is happening? I'm going to break it down because obviously this tapped onto the market, and there's some action. So thus, I got to talk about it. Let's do it. Breaking news headlines start now. Friends and family, men and women, boys and girls, whoever watches this podcast. Oh boy. Things are getting spicy. I got nothing else to say besides it's spicy. Iran versus the US, basically US and Israel. I don't really understand the connection we have with Israel at this point. I'm a little confused on multiple fronts here, but I'm going to keep my political comments to myself. Other than the fact that what we saw within the last, not even 12 hours, I would say within the last 2 hours, 3 hours, is the fact that Donnie T is like maybe reevaluating the whole Iran situation. And over the weekend, Donnie T has been throwing like kaplu after kaplow, and Iran's like, listen, if you don't stop, if you come after our electricity, our grids, we're going to come after other grids, which means that they're probably going to hit the electricity grids in the UAE, in Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. Also, their water, if you obviously are in the freaking desert and somewhere like Dubai or in the UAE, obviously you're in the desert, dude. You need your whole water system that they got going on because they don't have access to fresh water. So that is also at risk. So if Donnie T, with his 48-hour countdown over whether he was going to go kaplow in Iran, he had to rethink that, because if they start coming after everyone else's water supply in the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, whatever it may be, then that's when it really becomes WW3. You know what I mean? And so Donnie T put out this post, and he said, I am pleased to report that the US and the country of Iran have had over the last 2 days very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East. Based on the tenure and the tone of these in-depth, detailed, and constructive conversations, which will continue throughout the week, I have instructed that the Department of War to postpone any and all military strikes against Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure for a 5-day period. Subject to the success of the ongoing meetings and discussions, thank you for your attention to this matter, Donnie T. So Donnie T is telling us right here, right now, LOL, JK, we're not going to go blow everyone up. Then we're talking with Iran. We've been chatting with Iran. Turns out that might be actually fake news. Maybe Donnie T got ahead of himself. Maybe his advisor said, hey, yo, Donnie T, we're talking to Iran, but when they were actually just talking to themselves, who knows? Because then Iran's foreign ministry then goes and denies such claims that Donnie T was having conversations. Because I'm going to show you the chart of what happened to the market when this announcement came out from Donnie T. Take a gander. So the Kobisi letter, I love Sir Kobisi. He's so cool. I've hung out with him. We were on Fox together one time. The tweet came out. Iran's foreign ministry denies Donnie T's statement on peace talks. It says Iran has had no direct or indirect contact with the U.S. So basically, we were like, LOL, yay, we're not going to throw kaplows. And then Iran was like, JK, you're JKing. We never said that. And so at the same time that Iran's coming out and saying, hey, yo, we never had conversations with the U.S., then Israel went, and I saw this post, which again, has not been community noted, thus it might be real, who knows. But it says the Israeli Air Force has now begun a new wave of strikes targeting infrastructure sites across the Iranian capital of Tehran. And so as the U.S. is trying to maybe claw back a little bit, rethink, then Israel is like, LOL, I'm going to go in and just kaplow because I don't care what the U.S. wants. So it seems like what we have going on is Israel saying one thing, the U.S. saying another. Sometimes they align, sometimes they don't. And the U.S. is like, I'm going to do this regardless of Israel. And then Israel's like, I'm going to do this regardless of the U.S. But Israel and the U.S. are supposed to be besties. This is just, again, distraction, theater, whatever. Because what happens, guys? It all comes from the same place, the 0.01 percenters. Do I need to pull out this freaking whiteboard again? Do I need to pull out the freaking whiteboard? We're pulling out the freaking whiteboard. How far am I into this podcast that we're already pulling out whiteboards? I don't know. 12 minutes into this poor podcast. You guys are in for it today, let me tell you. Let me freaking tell you. Okay, we're gonna get clean here. Okay. What color? We're gonna do blue. We're gonna do blue. So we got the points, not 0.01. Oh, where did that go? We got the 0.01 percenters, boys and girls. We got the 0.01 percenters at the top. And then what did they do? They are like the brains. They are the whole, like, this is a brain. I don't know if that's how you draw a brain. They are the brains of the operation. They're the chess players. They're the ultimate chess players. The 0.01%. They are the ones that are like, LOL, like, let's just go and troll the entire world. We'll stir around propaganda and then control all the money. They are the ones with the brain behind their operation, and they're the ones, wait, why am I doing this upside down? They're the ones that are just really creating like this whole tyrannical money system that we have. So to cover up their own antics, the 0.01%, they thus then go and attribute the central banks, the CBs. These are the central banks. They're like, the 0.01% are like, let's use the central banks to go and blame them for printing all this money. And every country will have a central bank. So that means that the central banks have the dollar, we got, the euro, we got the pound, we got the yen, whatever else we got out there, right? We got all these currencies. So then, okay, we have all these currencies. We control every country through their monetary system, right? Because it's really them behind all of it. They control the central banks. Thus, if they control the central banks and all of these currencies, they're then able to infiltrate politics.
Thank you.
Right?
You're welcome. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
Oh,
Pump the likes mooks. Thumbs up emoji. Eyes
heard the man.
emoji.
You heard the man. So we got the 0.01% the brains. They're like, let's have every country have a different currency, because then we could go and infiltrate the politics of each country, which if you infiltrate the politics, you hurt the economy. Wow, genius, right? We have the economy at stake. And then when you control the economy, you control retail narrative. Wow, retail narrative. Okay, this is what you got. So the 0.01% are ultimately telling the politicians what to do, that then go and infiltrate the economy, that then go infiltrate retail morale and the narrative. Because now that we have the central bankers, because again, all the BIS is, the Bank for International Settlements, is that conglomerate of central bankers that control the world. And they don't all politically align. Thus, which is like senseless in a way, because they all end up meeting up. Like the central bankers from China, Europe, the US, we don't all politically align, but somehow we align on what? Money. Because the central bankers are paid by these guys, and these guys pay these guys, who then pay the politicians, who then influence the economy, who then distract the public. So this is what's going on here. I don't like that all of these wars are starting from up here when people really think it starts right here. It's all a lie. It's sad. I have to say, it's sad. And even the people that, I see your comment, Ian, because even the people we think are at the top, they're not actually at the top. The names we know are just the front-facing individuals, right? It's really like, who's the brain? Who's that one big brain at the top? I would like to know. And that's where it gets spiritual. That's where, you know, when it comes to money, obviously we know that it sucks the life out of you and the soul out of you. And so the love of money from the 0.01%ers is really what the problem is, because they have bloodlust and they have lust for money and sin. Thus, because they envy this, they idolize money, they idolize control, then they come after retail and they hide what they do from retail. Why? They hide what they do from the everyday people because they know that we're actually moral humans. Humans, keyword humans, and we abide by truth. And that's why we're flipping the script here with Bitcoin, because once people have purchasing power, they're then able to have the actual power to go and tell the truth. And once people understand that they're influenced by economics, who's thus influenced by politicians, who are influenced by the central banks, who are influenced by the 0.01%, that's when change starts to get made. And what we're seeing right now is that change, because people are upset, rightfully so. We have people like friends, family going off to risk their life and willingly give their life for a WAR that, frankly, we don't know who's at the helm of. And we're funding both sides, meaning we the people, because it doesn't matter where you're from or what your currency is, you're still paying for this. The 0.01%ers are just making the game. They're forcing us to play, and we're not playing anymore, which is why AOC, the wise words of AOC.
Oh, girl,
baby
girl. Don't even play.
Oh, girl, baby girl, don't even play, because we're not playing anymore. This is why we're in Bitcoin, because we're not playing anymore. We're opting out of this game. And so as we're hearing, oh, this country this country that, we're seeing the charts have an impact. The S&P had a major candle go kaploo this morning, and this was the timeline of the market moves. At 7:04 a.m., Donnie T says, there's productive talks. Candle, woo-hoo-hoo! 7:10 a.m., the S&P surges, adding $2 trillion. Then at 7:37, Iran says, LOL, you thought. We're not actually talking to Donnie T. And then at 8, $1 trillion wiped out from the S&P. And don't you think it's funny? I think it's so funny. So funny how the market just pumped. Everyone was ready for that. pre-trading hours at 7:04 freaking a.m. Who knew? Who knew this announcement was coming? Who actually benefited from these trades? I would love to know. I want to know. I want to know who knew. I want to know who benefited off this news. And who and this is what really like boggles my mind is that like you have like these you have the market, which obviously we know Congress is insider trading. We know that probably people higher up within the government are like, you know, executing this WAR and they're like telling their execs, haha, LOL, this is this next announcement we're going to put out. And then they call their wife or they call their son or they call their second uncle and they're like, yo, go make this trade for me real quick. Go make this trade for me real quick. Seems like some insider action. I don't know. I'm just a woman that looks at the internet and narratives, but it seems a little bit sus to me, does it not? Are you sussed out? Put a 1 or a yes emoji, 2 or no emoji. Isn't it all on chain? So the chart I showed you was the S&P. So the answer technically right now is no. Eventually that will be on blockchain. Wow, I cannot believe the hit. You guys are really chatting about this denim everywhere. Wow. Yeah. How do we win, Eric asks. How do we win? We're already winning. And so, you know what? Let's bring out the whiteboard. Because as I showed you, the 0.01%, the brains of the operation, are at the top, influencing the central bank, that influences politics, that influences the economy, thus retail narratives. So now we're gonna do a little flip. We're gonna flip the script. We're gonna flip. So then how do we win? How do we win? Well, I'll show you how we win. Where am I? You have Bitcoins. Yay, Bitcoin. Bitcoin equals happiness. Let's get a little smiley face out there. Let's get a little smiley face. This is how we flip the script. Bitcoin, because Bitcoin brings happiness. Isn't it so funny how they always talk about our inalienable human rights of life, liberty, and property? But the US goes and flips it to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Well, Bitcoin gives us happiness. It gives us that liberty, that trust. And how we win is by onboarding retail, because once retail owns Bitcoin, then we go, and as we saw in the past elections, we could then now go and influence politics, because politicians want what? Politicians want money. And if retail has the money, the politicians are like, how do we cipher said money? Well, if you want the money, the politicians are then going to have to put in pro-crypto policies. And this is the battle we're actually facing right now in 2026. This is 2026. I would say 2020 to 2026 has been this. It has been this, pro-crypto policies, because once the politicians realize that all the money is in retail, thus in Bitcoin and crypto, they're going to have to do pro-crypto policies. And once they start doing pro-crypto policies, what happens next? Oh, the battle between the banks, which is what we're doing right now. This is the battle of the Clarity Act. This actually extends, this point extends into clarity. This extends into clarity because now we're fighting the banks to get pro-crypto policies because, again, because we have pro-crypto policies, now the banks are going to have to give into crypto, which means less bank deposits potentially to them, but also banks hold less power. So now the banks are going to have to default and go into crypto, which if they get into crypto, retail again gets richer, because there's more liquidity in crypto. So thus retail actually starts winning because the banks are going to have to default to us. So once the banks default to us, then the central banks are also going to have to buy Bitcoin. However, that means, again, more purchasing powered retail's hands. Then we get to flip the narrative completely. And then the 0.01% that's hoarding all their fiat, they're not the 0.01% anymore. And because they lost all their purchasing power, these people become absolutely irrelevant. The banks then become irrelevant. And who wins ultimately? Retail. So that's how we win. That's how we win. Is we start getting into Bitcoin, we opt out, we get the politicians to flip because they're greedy, they want money. Then we get the pro-crypto policies out of the politicians, which is clarity, which I hope actually becomes clarity, because then the banks are going to flip, they're going to lose it, the central banks are going to lose it, and then the 0.01% lose their standing. So thus, it all goes back to retail. I hope that makes sense. And thank you for the community for sending me such a beautiful tool to explain all of this to you. Big banks are not going to take over crypto. They're going to have to try, because crypto is going to be the only thing that brings liquidity to the banks. It's the only thing that's going to have them make money. They need the banks, just like how banks are lending and they're also investing. Like a lot of regional banks are in New York real estate. New York is absolutely horrid right now. So everyone's leaving New York. No one wants New York real estate. Thus, those banks are going to fail. So they can't sustain themselves. The banks cannot make money in this day and age anymore. The only way the banks can get saved is Bitcoin. So again, Bitcoin does not need people. People need Bitcoin. So I hope that was clear. I just told you how we're going to win. It's going to be a fight for sure. There's going to be bank runs. There's going to be a Bitcoin shortage. But then that's why we have Litecoin. And so we're all good. We are all good. When will blockchain attach to music, songs, and art to haggle AI? It's already been done. I mean, I published NFTs. I was one of the first creators to publish NFTs back in 2021 and in 2020. And I published songs, art, music videos, all of that on blockchain. So it's already there. It's just a matter of someone that builds a very nice website that looks good, because the UI UX is obviously the problem in crypto. So I feel like if you come out with the platform, we could do it right now. Let's do it. But through all of this, and as I'm explaining to you the macro of the situation and how Bitcoin long-term is going to play out, we do have the fear in people, the bears, roar. 50K Bitcoin, is that really in the cards? Put a 1 or a yes emoji, 2 or no emoji, let me know. People are saying this is why they're waiting for 50K. And I actually, out of the corner of my eye, spotted a wild Geo in the chat. Geo, do you think we're going to have a 50K Bitcoin? Do you think we're going to go down that 50%? EMC said they think it will go below 50K. Well, people are saying this is why, because price action ends the week below a key trend line that traders see a little more than early week bounce for bulls. People are saying price looks more and more like it's repeating January's bear flag, and that gold is entering a bear market, which I don't care about gold, and that traders are trying to consider Fed rate hikes, and Bitcoin's long-term holders have been selling at a loss throughout March. We're also, again, looking at the 200-day SMA. We're not far from the 200-day SMA, guys. That is why I have hope here, because we could test and reject it, maybe go down to, I would say, a realistic bearish scenario would be at 52K. I don't think we're going to make it to 50K flat. If we ever went that way, I think we're going to find support at 52K. The only way I can see that happening is testing and rejecting the 200-day SMA, because we've had times where we tested and rejected the 200-day SMA and have still gone down, like, what, 50%? Yeah, around 60%. So I would say, yeah, 52K could be our low, but I don't really see it. I don't really see it. Geo, that's not the right response, bro. Like, he said 86K first, and I'll let you know, and then he said something about bear flags. What are you saying, Geo? Geo, this is why I can't talk to you. This is why I can't talk to you. Anyways, so people are concerned about that 50K Bitcoin. Although, this is just so crazy. Prosecutors, and this is where we got to get into, like, just... we did a lot of market discussion today. Man, I can't even get it out. Ugh! It just feels dirty when I talk about this individual because I have curly hair. I make sure it's washed. Okay? Sam Bankman-Fried doesn't look like he washes his curly hair. And that's a shame. But it's probably because he's in jail because his mommy and daddy put him there. But mommy and daddy are like, no, get my baby boy out of jail. Well, maybe you should trade places with him and then maybe we'd be okay with that because you're the real criminals. I'll digress. Prosecutors are flagging mail discrepancies in SBF's retrial motion. Are we freaking for real? Are we in 2026? Or we're just gonna let this guy get out of prison? I would literally fall to the ground. I would probably have to take a week off. I would have to take a week off to deal with the emotions that I would go through if this man gets out of prison. Especially if his parents are never investigated. SBF's parents are the biggest criminals out of this whole enterprise, and nobody talks about it. Nobody. Federal prosecutors told a judge that a letter purportedly sent by SBF was actually shipped via FedEx from somewhere else entirely, suggesting someone outside impersonated him. Is this what we're reaching for? Stop. If the letter was fake, they would have said it right off the bat. They wouldn't have said it after the courts and everyone else said, we're not going to have an SBF retrial. Donnie T said, I'm not giving SBF a pardon. So he has the audacity to say that it's not actually his letter, or maybe mommy and daddy shipped it for him. And then when it didn't work out, they were like, oh, this is our backup plan. We'll just say like he never sent it. Meanwhile, SBF has been tweeting like he just got on Twitter 5 days ago. He's all new to Twitter. He's tweeting everywhere. Stop. This is, wow. Because it is an unusual wrinkle, as they word it here, to his post-conviction fight. He was sentenced to 25 years for fraud and conspiracy, pursuing a new trial from the Federal Correction Institution Terminal Island in San Pedro, California. Now, prosecutors say the suspect letter was docketed March 16th, but shipped from Palo Alto or Menlo Park, mislabeled the prison as a state facility and carried typed S instead of an actual signature. Bureau of Prisoners regulation bars inmates from sending mail through private carriers like FedEx. But doesn't it mean that maybe mommy and daddy wrote it for him? So now his parents are telling news outlets, and specifically, of course, CNN, that no customer money was lost. And that FTX creditors are maybe seeing it differently, as a lot of people lost money. But I think SBF's parents are obviously living the good life. You put money into FTX, it went to Alameda Research, which then went into the direct pockets of SBF and his girlfriend and his other boyfriends and girlfriends that he was working with, but also mingled with intimately. And then you have his parents, where SBF was all about, I'm just gonna drive my Nissan Altima. I'm just kidding. It's just, I don't know. He got some car or whatever that was not flashy. He's like, I'm just gonna drive this. I'm gonna wear my t-shirt with holes in it as long as I get to just donate all this money back to the world. As the kids say, it's all cap. It's all cap. Because when you went to go and maybe get your organization supported through the charities of FTX, you had to go through Papa Bankman-Fried, Papa Sam. And Papa Sam would say yes or no. But Papa Sam was big on the no-nos. He was big on the no-nos. And actually, it was Daddy Fried that was in charge of a lot of the money going to charity. So maybe he deemed himself and wifey Bankman-Fried as a charity case because they got a lot of things put in their name, like properties and such. So interesting that they say no customer money was lost because actually it was found by them and put into every other asset that they could steal from. Barbara Fried and Joseph Bankman, the parents of FTX's SBF, who was convicted after the collapse, argues that there were no customer money or funds that were lost. Said the money is always there. This was a very profitable company with billions of extra assets. Extra assets? Seems like you were the extra asset over there. You were the little piggy bank. You were the little piggy bank, weren't you, Papa Fweed? The timing is not incidental. At the end of March, the FTX Recovery Trust is set to distribute $2.2 billion in its fourth payout, bringing total recoveries to roughly $10 billion. Several U.S. customer classes would reach 100% recovery, with one class like 120%. And Bankman-Fried's parents, those whose figures should mean SBF's exoneration. Fried says everybody is made whole with 18 to 43% interest. Let's get real about the whole thing, shall we? Let's get real. Let's get real. The fact that they're telling you you're at 100% recovery is a lie. Blatant. Because when FTX collapsed, Bitcoin was like 15 to 17K. And if you had a whole Bitcoin on FTX, then you actually didn't own the Bitcoin, one, because it wasn't in your own wallet. Two, they never actually held the Bitcoin. And three, if they're saying you're getting 100% back, well, you should be getting $71,546 Bitcoin as it is right now. But no, 100% recovery in their eyes is you getting the cash value of what Bitcoin was worth at the time, which means you're not getting $71,540 something Bitcoin. You're actually getting $16,000 cash. So you're not getting 100% back. You're getting what they deem enough to give you. And that's a lie. And so I would appreciate if his parents stopped talking, because it's embarrassing. It's honestly embarrassing. I want them to be investigated. Should they be going on TV? Do it. Because it just further will entice us to go do more research into you. I think I might have to do my own deep dive into SBF's parents, as I already have for you guys years ago. But it feels like we might have to go do this again and bring up the receipts, because these people just go and lie. They're very much elitist. They're very much like the 0.01%, like, oh, we can't be touched, so we're going to go on TV and say whatever we want, blah, 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 blah. Because it doesn't matter what we say, because we won't be held accountable for anything that we say. So fun. So funny. Imagine if it was anyone else. If it was anyone else. Because they were teachers at Stanford. They had their Stanford properties. They were best friends with Gary Gensler and had backdoor meetings with him. All about it. All about it. Let's go into coins to watch. Gainers and losers. Gainers today, we got Midnight up 10%, DexE up 7.5%, Avalanche is up 6.5%, Kite is flying up 5.8%, Virtual is up 5.7%. We also have Stable down 4.6%, leading the losers. BitGet is down 4%, Mantle down 3%, River down 3%, Caspa also down about 3%. Ethereum 2180, guys, looking spicy. Again, what we need to hold is right here at 2170. I'm telling you, that's the level we got to hold. Litecoin is still looking spicy. Go Litecoin. Yeah, Litecoin. Someone has to hold them accountable, so it should be me. You know what? Maybe. Supporting the encryption ecosystem is the same as supporting American insurance. I would, you know, that's valid. That's valid. Yeah, let's support everything. Let's support like encryption. Let's support privacy. Privacy is a basic human right. Amen. Can I get a like? Can we get likes? Do we have likes? I don't know if we have likes. Please smash a like on this lovely podcast. I'm live Monday through Friday at 9:45 a.m. Eastern. If this is your first time tuning in, I appreciate you. You guys are beautiful people. And it just goes to show that things are just getting a little bit spicy. Things are getting a little bit wild. And so, again, we need to have money that belongs to us. And that's what I always preach, is the fundamentals over the pumpamentals of this space. It does not matter what price Bitcoin is, because one Bitcoin will always be equal to one Bitcoin. And what that means is that you can't inflate Bitcoin. There will only ever be 21 million to exist. The same dollar from 1990 is not worth the same amount now. $1 is not equal to $1. Unfortunately, that's how it is. And I was actually speaking to these older women at the pool this weekend, and one I always go to the gym with, and she's so great. I love her. And then she had an older friend that was with her, and so like these ladies were like, I think 40 to 60 years old, and they were so, like, I literally love them, sweetie pies, and they were like, I just don't get Bitcoin. And I was like, well, I explained the currency exchange. Like, imagine you go to a currency exchange and then like the $1 is not equal to $1, but 1 Bitcoin is equal to 1 Bitcoin. They looked at me and they were like, oh, wow. They're like, I feel so far away from Bitcoin, but you actually explained it in a way that makes sense. And so this is what we need to promote, is that baseline education that people do not have. They don't have the baseline information. They don't understand what blockchain means. They don't understand money. They don't understand the difference between $1 20 years ago and $1 now, and why that happens, and how Bitcoin fixes that problem. So this is what we need to keep going at. We need to keep getting after the education. I don't care what it takes. We have to keep promoting education at the most basic level. What is Bitcoin? How do you download a wallet? How do you transact Bitcoin? How do you even... How do you buy it? How do you move it from the exchange to your wallet? This is why I put out articles. This is why I put out videos. This is why I do this podcast, because it's so freaking important to me. So important. And it's important to the next generation of users. So please go ahead and educate people gracefully. Send them to this podcast. Send them to our videos. Let people get educated. Paolo, welcome to the channel. Thank you for subscribing, you lovely individual. I appreciate you. But overall, we're going to do good. We're going to do good for the world. We're going to educate people everywhere. We're going to travel the world to spread crypto adoption. And I appreciate every single one of you guys. If you have not yet, please do me the honor of smashing the like, subscribing to the channel, share this out with friends so more people know what's going on here. I am going into Discord right now to go hang out with you guys for a community after show. Everybody is invited, whether or not you have a membership. But on Wednesdays and Fridays, it is exclusive for members only. So go support the YouTube channel, become a member, get your emojis, get access to Discord. And I will see you guys later. And as always, stay zesty. Mwah. Bye.